Hello folks, I hope that you are having just a great day today. Today I'll take a look at the Book of Silence by Lawrence Watt Evans. It is the final book in the Lords of Dus 4-book series, so we'll be taking a look at it and doing my review of this solid entry into the classic fantasy, epic fantasy field. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started then with the last book in the series. This is a fun book. It has a lot of dark stuff that happens in it. It definitely has some of the things that are happening in it. As a reminder, our main character in this story, his name is Garth, and he is an overman. Overmen were wizard creations of humans. They have their feet taller than normal humans. They have fur. They have a skull-like head instead of a normal traditional human face. They have a thumb here for their pinky, so they're capable of additional feats of manual dexterity that we can't even think of as humans. So they have special things that are out there, and they have special things that are happening. And there was a war between humans and overmen centuries ago called the Racial Wars, where overmen were driven out due to low numbers, and they fled to the Northern Wastes, and Garth is one of the princes of the Northern Wastes. In the first book of the series, The Lord of the Basilisk, which feels like a prelude to a trilogy rather than an actual proper part of the series, we find out that he has gotten bored and that he has a desire for fame. So he seeks the wise women of Ordunnon, his hometown, and they send him to go serve the Forgotten King, whom he goes down to in book 1, and the king sends him on a quest, and the quest in order to prove his worth, and the quest is for him to bring back the first living thing he finds in the crypts of Mormorth. And which is hundreds of miles away, and a long journey both ways to and back from Mormorth. And so that is his first quest. And he finds out in chapter 5 that the only living thing in the crypts is a basilisk. So he has to bring back a basilisk, which is not going to be easy to do, and definitely tests his mettle. So we find out that he's been doing a couple of other quests since then. So, spoilers now for a couple of the other books. Alrighty, just want to give you a second. Near the end of book 3, in book 2, his quest is to go to the city of Dusara and rob what he finds on their altars. And there are 7 gods in Dusara, and they're the dark gods. Dusara is the only place on the earth where the dark gods are worshipped, and so he goes into this evil dark city in order to raid and pillage the gods. They're on one of the gods is named Behilu, god of destruction, who is somehow an overman, which is unusual because overmen were created like a lot less time, like 1,000 years ago, and Behilu's been around for a lot longer, which raises Garth's suspicions, and the sword of Behilu was on the altar of Behilu, the god of destruction, and it definitely feels like it called to him in the thing, so he takes it and he's kind of possessed by the sword, and then we'll find out in the 3rd book, the sword of Behilu, that the sword of Behilu can definitely put Garth into a berserker rage, and turns him very angry very quickly, and leads to other things as destructions. We'll find out during the course of the Sword of Behilu, there's a lot of things that are going to happen, and Garth's going to get pulled in a lot of negative ways. And near the end of the book, he's going to give up the sword, and with the help of the Forgotten King, whom he serves. And so now we're going to open up book 4, and the spoilers. And so we're going to open up book 4. It's going to be a couple of years later, and he's gotten bored again, and he is seeking to do things. He is in Skeleth now. He's been kicked out of his hometown, and so he's hanging around Skeleth, and he's trying to find some things to do. What is he going to do? How is he going to help? And because of what the Sword of Hugo did to him, he is a persona non grata in most of the places, and even in Skellige too, so he's not trusted by his friends and previous associates. So he gets angry with he sits down with the king, and the king suggests that he goes out on a quest. There is a dragon that is raiding a town that's about 5 or 6 days away, and a little valley that's out that way by the town, and he could go out there, help the town out, kill the dragon, and then come back, and nobody would, be hurt, nobody would be wounded, nobody would be killed, right? And so Garth decides to go do that, and then he'll come back after he's done with his quest, after pestering the Forgotten King yet another time. So Garth heads out, and that's going to be like his first quest in the book. There's going to be basically another couple quests he's going to do in the course of this book, the Book of Silence, on behalf of the Forgotten King. And this is the first one. The killing of a dragon in this valley, and a village that will help bring about peace and prosperity once again to the people that are there. So he will seek to destroy a dragon. And that's it. That's the first quest and the first part of this book. This book is something that's very, very impactful on my life. I read it when I was a kid. It was one of the first books of series. It's written for adults, but it's one of the first things I read when I was a kid. It's very impactful on me. I'll actually link you in the comments below, not only to this book, but to a video called My Appendix N, where I go over the most influential pieces of work in my life. And this book series, The Lords of Dus, is one of the 10 most influential fantasy stories that I've ever read in my life, particularly book 2, which I gave a 9 out of 10 to. I gave a 6 out of 10 to the first book, a 9 out of 10 to book 2, a 7 out of 10 to book 3, and I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 to book 4. This book is tighter, and that sort of thing's happening. The first book is the first book that was written by the author. He sold it very quickly to Del Rey, the publishers, in 1980. And then the next couple books followed along really quickly. The second book, so the first book feels like The Hobbit. It has things that happen in it, but it's self-contained. It can be read at one pace, and then the next 3 books feel like The Lord of the Rings. They're a tighter wound trilogy, right? It feels like a prelude and a trilogy rather than a tight 4-book modern series. So just so you kind of go in with eyes wide open. But The Lord of Basilisk is good, and the rest of the books are even better. They get better over time. Particularly book 2, which is one of my favorite books in fantasy period. I just love the 7 Altars of Dusara. I've been going back and rereading a lot of old classics that I liked when I was a kid. And in this case, I read them when I was a kid, as a young adult, and now going back as a middle age, just to make sure that they are still something I would recommend, that they still feel fresh, that they still feel good for folks that are out there, and this series definitely still feels it. So I'm recommending a whole series for you. The Lords of Dus by Hugo awarded Lawrence Watt Evans. So there you are. Have you read any of the books of the series, or the Book of Silence in particular? I would be more than happy to engage with further in the comments below. If you like this video, please feel encouraged to hit that subscribe button, because there's going to be a lot more of these involving fantasy, science fiction, and horror. And then finally, hey, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and investing in my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're being pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling. I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have a great day.